Angel Reese receives her 8th tech, which will prohibit her from playing against the Indiana Fever. And 2, she's in some pretty hot water with her teammates about the Chicago Tribune article.
Angel Reese just got suspended, and the whole league is chuckling. Not because it's some grave offense, but because the Chicago Sky rolled out one of the most unintentionally funny punishments imaginable. Benched for half a game. Not a full game. A single half. Who even thinks of that? Does a move like this project strength or expose weakness from Chicago? Throw thoughts in the comments. Let's get into this spectacle, because circus is the only fitting word.
But it honestly hasn't been the greatest week for Angel Reese because she did an interview where she talked about all things Chicago Sky, but there was a couple things that she said in the interview that truly rubbed her teammates and her coach the wrong way. And it was kind of a firestorm yesterday on social media. One of the things that was mentioned in the report is that Reese said that she doesn't believe her teammates Rachel Bannum or Hailey Van Lith are capable of leading a playoff team. And according to the Tribune, Reese believes that the team needs to be overhauled this season around just 2 solidified pieces on the 2026 roster, herself and Camila Cardoso. She said, "I'm not settling for the same crap we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. However I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm going to do this offseason. I'd like to be here for my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me." Those are sometimes just sentiments that you just don't say publicly. And her teammates unfortunately saw this, the coaching staff saw this, and then it was reported, multiple league sources told Front Office Sports the entire team has seen Reese's comments and the teammates are unhappy with the direct attacks. A team meeting is planned at which players are expected to address Reese directly. Now, Angel Reese, since all of that, she has apologized, she has taken some accountability, and the last thing that I will read for you guys is her apology. She said, "I don't think I'm frustrated with my team/organization. I think I'm frustrated with myself. I didn't intentionally mean..."
The Sky announced that Angel Reese won't suit up for the first half of their upcoming showdown with the Las Vegas Aces. Yes, that's for real. She's not missing the entire game. She's not out for multiple contests. She's sidelined for one half. It's not just odd, it's comedic timing. When has anyone seen this before?
It's not been Angel Reese's day. Basically, her entire team feels attacked by her from comments that she made in a Chicago Tribune article. This is what Front Office Sports is reporting. According to the report, Reese said she doesn't believe her teammates Rachel Bannum or Hailey Van Lith are capable of leading a playoff team. Guard Ariel Atkins is another player on the Sky's roster with WNBA championship experience. "We are aware of it," Marsh said. Marsh is actually the head coach of the Chicago Sky, and we're addressing it in-house as currently speaking. That's where we're staying right now.
At nearly every level of basketball, a suspension means one thing: you're out. One game, maybe multiple, depending on the offense. Half a game is the kind of token penalty a college coach hands out for showing up late to a workout, not what a professional franchise does to discipline a supposed franchise cornerstone. This isn't hard-nosed accountability. It's a public relations performance.
Some of the things that were said, I will read you some of the excerpts, which does kind of not make her team look good. One of which say, "We can't rely on Courtney," that's Courtney Vandersloot, "to come back at the age that she's at. I know she'll be a great asset for us, but we can't rely on that. We need someone probably a little younger with some experience, somebody who's been playing the game and is willing to compete for a championship and has done it before." Some of the other stuff that she said was also pretty bad. Like, "I'm not settling for the same we did this year. We have to get good players. We have to get great players. That's a non-negotiable for me. I am willing and wanting to play with the best, and however I can help to get the best here, that's what I'm gonna do this offseason. So it's gonna be very, very important this offseason to make sure that we attract the best of the best because we can't settle for what we have this year."
The Sky wanted to look stern after Reese publicly called out teammates and basically torched the locker room chemistry, but they didn't want to deal with the full consequences of a real suspension. So they landed on this halfway fix that makes them look even more uncertain. If the plan was to suspend her, then suspend her. If not, don't. Splitting the difference telegraphs indecision.
So her saying we can't settle for what we have this year, that is basically like a slap in the face to Becca Allen. That is a slap in the face to Rachel Bannum. That is a slap in the face to Ariel Atkins. And here's another quote. "I'd like to be here for the rest of my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me."
So, how did we get here? Reese spoke to the media and said the roster needed more talent, that she's exhausted by losing, and that the team needs change. Comments like that don't just disappear after a news cycle, they linger in the locker room air. Worse, she didn't keep it general. She referenced ages, veterans, and specific teammates. That's not leadership. That's tossing fuel on an open flame.
I don't think I'm frustrated. I probably am frustrated myself right now. I think the language is taken out of context, and I really didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates because they've been through this with me throughout the whole year. They busted their eyes, just how I busted my eyes. They showed up for me through thick and thin in the locker room when nobody could see anything. So I would apologize to my teammates, which I already have, about the article and how it was misconstrued, about what was said. And I just have to be better with my language because I know it's not the message, it's the messenger, and understanding what I say can be taken any kind of way. So I just have to really be better and grow from this.
Here's the kicker. Earlier in the year, Chicago's GM, Jeff P., publicly called Reese out, said she needed to shoulder more, deliver more, and be more for the team. No penalty for him, no symbolic reprimand, business as usual. But when Reese flips the script and fires back, it's labeled detrimental, and she's sitting for a half. The double standard is hard to miss. On one hand, the Sky market Reese as the face of the franchise, the ticket seller, the pillar to build around. On the other, the moment she speaks bluntly, the organization folds like a lawn chair and trots out a performative suspension.
And watching the bottom of your screen.
Let's be fair, Reese isn't blameless. Her start to the season was rough. Missed layups, bottomed out efficiency, and visible lapses that raised questions about effort. There was a stretch where she was finishing under 30% at the rim, which is unacceptable for a player who lives in the paint. The GM's frustration didn't come out of thin air. To her credit, she improved as the season went on. But even with that growth, she hasn't reached the level where calling out teammates by name plays as leadership. Chicago also knew exactly who they were drafting. This is the same player who thrived amid drama at LSU, who drew headlines for her edge and bravado as often as her production. She's outspoken, brash, and unfiltered. That's part of her identity and her brand. You can't plaster that attitude across marketing campaigns when it's convenient and then try to bottle it up when it gets uncomfortable. That's not how it works. So does this mean Reese's time in Chicago is nearing an end? The writing's on the wall. Teammates appear fatigued by the noise. The front office looks unsure about its direction, and Reese herself often seems disengaged. A trade in the offseason wouldn't be shocking. The real question is, who wants to inherit the commotion that comes with her? As for the she'll be out of the league soon talk, it doesn't hold up. She's too talented and too marketable. She rebounds like a force of nature, plays with an endless motor, and draws eyes to the product. You don't just discard that, but she will need to mature if she wants to be more than a headline magnet. Comparisons to Draymond Green aren't far-fetched. Relentless energy, emotional edge, high impact mixed with a habit of crossing lines, stacking up technicals, and putting the team in bad spots. Reese already has a pile of technicals this season. That isn't toughness, it's a control problem. And when the team is sitting at the bottom of the standings, the last thing it can withstand is its most visible player missing time for preventable issues. Meanwhile, Sky fans are watching a season crumble. Blowouts on the floor, fractures off it, and a half-game suspension doesn't heal culture. It doesn't command respect. It invites ridicule. The media reaction proves it. Half-game suspensions are virtually unheard of at this level. The league already grapples with perception issues around discipline. This only fuels the skepticism. If you're in that locker room, do you feel backed by leadership or embarrassed that the franchise became a punchline? It's hard to argue it's the former. Players crave clarity and stability. The Sky appear to be improvising. Reese's response only turned up the volume. She didn't immediately walk it back. She said her words were twisted, that she didn't mean to put down teammates, then reiterated her desire to play with great players. Translation: sorry, not sorry. She eventually offered an apology, but once teammates are criticized publicly, trust doesn't rebuild on cue. A half-game timeout isn't a culture reset. If anything, it adds tension without resolving the underlying fractures. And let's be real, this isn't about a single quote. It's part of a pattern. Run-ins with officials, a growing tab of technicals, and a constant orbit around controversy. When it's happening every few weeks, it stops looking like bad luck and starts defining a profile. The Sky are confronting that in real time, and they don't seem to have a plan. The sad truth, this team wasn't headed anywhere this season anyway. They're near the basement, far from contention. Benching Reese for a half doesn't change the destination. If anything, it speeds up the likely split. So where do the Sky go from here? They've wedged themselves into a corner. A half-game suspension admits everything without fully addressing anything. It's neither decisive nor dismissive. It's the middle path, and the middle path often leads straight into a ditch. Fans are laughing, media is laughing, and players around the league are laughing. Respect isn't earned with half measures, and chemistry doesn't repair itself because someone sits for 20 minutes against the Aces. That's not how trust works. Zooming in on Reese's game, the issue isn't only that she talks, it's that her offense hasn't consistently matched the volume. She's a dominant rebounder, high energy, relentless on the glass, but she's still inconsistent scoring, racks up unnecessary fouls, and yes, keeps piling technicals. When a team is losing, there's no margin for voluntary chaos. Fans notice the hustle one night and the arguments with refs the next. Calling for better teammates while still proving you're a reliable number one doesn't land the way it's intended. It divides. Run a restaurant. If you're a free agent surveying destinations, what's the draw right now? Between front office turbulence, theatrical suspensions, and non-stop noise, the franchise reads more soap opera than stable project. That said, Reese thrives in chaos. Her brand is unapologetic, confrontational, and attention-grabbing. Some love it, some hate it, but no one ignores it. That's why she won't vanish. If Chicago moves on, another team will gamble. Controversy sells tickets. But if the goal is winning, real winning, there has to be evolution. The villain persona entertains until the record hits the low tens and the suspension clips go viral. At some point, production has to drown out the drama. Right now, her rebounding and star power buy her time. In a league where careers are short and margins are thin, that time gets short if the next step never comes. Chicago's front office hasn't covered itself in glory either. From public critiques of Reese early on to this strange half-game stunt, the posture has been reactive and uncertain. Strong franchises set expectations and enforce them consistently. Weak ones improvise punishments and hope optics carry the day. It's obvious which one this looks like, and perception is the story in modern sports. The headline isn't the Sky's record, their developmental plan, or even their schemes. It's a half-game suspension, the kind of oddity that drowns out basketball talk and replaces it with ridicule. When the narrative turns into clown show, you've already lost the room. Reese apologized, then implied her comments were twisted. That's not contrition, it's PR language. The message is clear. She isn't changing for anyone. She'll outlast this, even if the Sky don't. If Chicago won't hand her the keys, another team will. But stardom is more than noise. It's consistency, leadership, and the ability to elevate a group. Right now, Reese checks two of those boxes: relentless on the glass and perpetually in the headlines. The third, lifting the team, is what's missing. Until she shows she can do that, she's energy and rebounds with an echo chamber. And here's the irony. The Sky tried to tamp down the echo with this half-game theater. Instead, they cranked the volume to max. Her name trends again. The debate cycles spin, and this penalty now lives as one of the strangest disciplinary decisions in recent memory. Meanwhile, Chicago's on-court issues remain. The locker room tension lingers, and the season stays adrift. Nothing truly changed, except the optics got worse. So was this discipline or desperation? It looks like a franchise trying to please everyone and satisfying no one. If the Sky want respect, they'll need clear standards, real accountability, and fewer stunts. If Reese wants to win, she'll need control to match her motor. Until both sides level up, this won't be the last episode, just the loudest one so far.